Did you know that some animals can see colors that we can't even imagine? Or that others navigate using magnetic fields, sense electricity, or hear sounds far beyond our range? The world we perceive is just a tiny sliver of the full sensory spectrum. Imagine experiencing the world through completely different senses. It would be like living on another planet. Intrigued? Let's explore. Hello curious minds and welcome to my channel. Here, we explore the most intriguing facts, the most bizarre stories, and the most surprising curiosities in the world. I'm Jack, and together, we'll dive into a universe of knowledge and question, is this real or fake? Today, we're embarking on a truly mind-bending journey. We're going to try to see the world through the eyes of animals. And I mean that in a much broader sense than just vision. We'll explore how different creatures perceive their surroundings using senses that are vastly different from our own, and discover how their unique sensory worlds shape their behavior, their survival, and their very existence. Get ready to expand your perception of reality, because the world looks, sounds, smells, tastes, and feels very different depending on who, or what, is doing the experiencing. Let's start with vision, perhaps the sense we humans rely on most. Our eyes are pretty good. We can see a decent range of colors, we have good depth perception, and we can see fairly well in moderate light. But compared to some animals, our vision is incredibly limited. Many animals can see parts of the electromagnetic spectrum that are invisible to us, like ultraviolet, UV, light. Bees, for example, use UV vision to find patterns on flowers that guide them to nectar, patterns that we can't see at all. Birds also see UV light, and it likely plays a role in their mate selection, foraging, and navigation. Imagine seeing the world with colors and patterns that are completely beyond human comprehension. Other animals have superior night vision. Cats, for instance, have a special reflective layer behind their retina called the tapetum lucidum, which amplifies incoming light and allows them to see much better in low light conditions. Owls, of course, are famous for their incredible night vision, with large eyes, a high density of rod cells, which are sensitive to low light, and specialized adaptations in their brains to process visual information in the dark. And then there are animals with completely different types of eyes. The mantis shrimp, a marine crustacean, has some of the most complex eyes in the animal kingdom. They have 12 to 16 types of photoreceptor cells, compared to our 3, allowing them to see a vastly wider range of colors, including polarized light and even circularly polarized light, which is something no other animal is known to see. What a mantis shrimp's world looks like is almost impossible for us to imagine. Next, let's consider hearing. Humans can hear sounds within a frequency range of roughly 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. But many animals can hear sounds that are far too high-pitched or too low-pitched for us to detect. Bats, for example, use echolocation to navigate and hunt. They emit high-frequency sounds, ultrasound, and listen for the echoes that bounce off objects, creating a sound map of their surroundings. Dolphins and whales also use echolocation, and they can communicate with each other using complex vocalizations that are often beyond our hearing range. On the other end of the spectrum, elephants can communicate using infrasound, sounds that are too low frequency for humans to hear. These low-frequency rumbles can travel for miles through the ground, allowing elephants to communicate with each other across vast distances. And some animals, like snakes, don't have external ears at all, but they can sense vibrations through the ground, allowing them to hear approaching predators or prey. Smell, or olfaction, is another sense that is vastly different for many animals. Dogs, of course, are renowned for their incredible sense of smell, which is estimated to be 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. They can detect odors at incredibly low concentrations, and they can distinguish between a vast array of different scents. This allows them to track prey, find lost objects, detect explosives or drugs, and even diagnose diseases like cancer. But dogs aren't the only animals with a superpowered sense of smell. Bears have an even better sense of smell than dogs, and they can detect food from miles away. Moths can detect the pheromones of potential mates from incredible distances. Some species can smell a mate from up to 7 miles away. And sharks can detect tiny amounts of blood in the water, allowing them to locate injured prey from a considerable distance. Touch and taste are also senses that can vary significantly across the animal kingdom. Some animals have specialized receptors that allow them to sense things we can't. The star-nosed mole, for example, has a bizarre-looking nose with 22 fleshy tentacles that are covered in thousands of tiny sensory receptors called Eimer's organs. These organs allow the mole to detect the texture, shape, and even electrical signals of its prey in the dark, muddy tunnels where it lives. Many fish have a lateral line system, a series of sensory organs along their bodies that allow them to detect vibrations and pressure changes in the water. This helps them to navigate, find prey, and avoid predators. And catfish have taste buds all over their bodies, allowing them to essentially taste their surroundings. Some snakes have specialized pit organs which act like infrared cameras, allowing snakes to essentially see heat. These are incredibly useful, especially at night, when hunting. Now we're getting into some truly extraordinary senses. Magnetoreception is the ability to sense magnetic fields, and it's used by many animals for navigation and orientation. Birds, for example, use the Earth's magnetic field to guide them during migration. Sea turtles also use magnetoreception to navigate across vast oceans. And some bacteria even have tiny magnetic crystals inside their cells that allow them to align themselves with the Earth's magnetic field. Electroreception is the ability to sense electrical fields, and it's found in a variety of aquatic animals. Sharks, rays, and some species of fish use electroreception to detect the weak electrical fields produced by the muscles of their prey, even when the prey is hidden under sand or in murky water. The platypus, a unique Australian mammal, also uses electroreception to find food in muddy riverbeds. Some animals have senses that are completely foreign to us. For example, some snakes have infrared receptors that allow them to see the heat emitted by their prey, even in complete darkness. This is essentially like having built-in thermal imaging cameras. Many insects have specialized receptors for detecting vibrations, allowing them to sense the movements of predators or prey through the ground or through plants. And some animals combine multiple senses in unique ways. For example, the star-nosed mole uses both its incredibly sensitive touch receptors and its sense of smell to create a detailed tactile map of its surroundings. The concept of Umwelt, developed by the biologist Jacob von Uexküll, is crucial for understanding how animals experience the world. Umwelt refers to the subjective sensory world of an organism, the world as it is perceived and experienced by that particular species. Because different animals have different sensory capabilities and different needs, their umwelts can be vastly different from our own, and from each other's. Think about a tick, for example. Its umwelt is primarily focused on detecting the temperature and smell of a potential host. A bee's umwelt is dominated by the colors and patterns of flowers, including ultraviolet patterns that we can't see. A bat's umwelt is largely constructed from sound echoes. Each animal lives in its own unique sensory bubble, and its behavior is shaped by the information it receives from that bubble. Understanding the umwelt of different animals has important implications for animal welfare and conservation. If we want to provide animals with appropriate environments and care, we need to consider their sensory needs. For example, zoo animals may suffer from sensory deprivation or overstimulation if their enclosures don't match their natural sensory environments. And understanding how animals perceive their surroundings can help us to design more effective conservation strategies, such as creating wildlife corridors that allow animals to move safely between fragmented habitats. It also raises ethical questions about how we interact with other species. If we recognize that other animals have their own unique and valid ways of experiencing the world, does that change our moral obligations towards them? Should we strive to minimize our impact on their sensory environments, even if it means making sacrifices ourselves? Scientists are constantly developing new technologies to help us understand animal senses better. These include miniature cameras and sensors that can be attached to animals to record their sensory experiences, virtual reality systems that allow us to simulate animal umwelts, and advanced brain imaging techniques that can reveal how different animals process sensory information. This research is not only fascinating from a scientific perspective, but it also has practical applications in fields like robotics, medicine, and conservation. Who knows what we'll discover in the future? Perhaps we'll find even more bizarre and unexpected animal senses, or develop technologies that allow us to directly experience the world through the eyes, or ears, or noses of other creatures. The possibilities are endless, and the journey of discovery is just beginning. So, there you have it, a glimpse into the incredible diversity of animal senses, and a reminder that our human perception of the world is just one limited perspective. What do you think is the most amazing animal sense? Which animals would you most like to experience if you could? And how does learning about animal senses change your understanding of the world around us? Let's discuss in the comments. If you enjoyed this exploration of animal senses, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, give this video a like, and share it with your friends. It helps the channel grow, and it spreads the wonder of the natural world. In the next episode, we'll be tackling another mind-bending mystery, another question that will challenge your assumptions about reality. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, the world looks, sounds, smells, tastes, and feels very different depending on who you are.